All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is May 4th. May the 4th be with you. We got ourselves a smaller than usual MLB slate, but we are going to jump into each and every game. I'll give you my lean or leans on the game, as I always do. We'll go through each and every game, but my final plays will be in the pinned comment. And what I mean by final plays, those are the ones that I like the most and that count towards our record. And I update that pinned comment throughout the day, so keep an eye on that. In terms of yesterday, we actually had a pretty decent day. There's a lot of red X's here, but we'll dig into it here. The Rangers money line, that does not come through. The Diamondbacks started a prospect pitcher. I was kind of hesitant to even pull the trigger on this play, but I was like, you know what, a prospect pitcher, let's go with it. And he actually pitched pretty damn well. Now, the score wouldn't even look like that. 12-7 was the final. But while he pitched, actually started the game pretty well. But we'll take the loss there. We had the Giants money line, which was a big hitter for us there. Only a half unit play, but it was plus 150 odds. Then we had the Pirates money line and the Pirates plus 1.5 on the run line. Both of those lose. That's what I was saying. We got to explain these red X's. Those are both a half unit, so it's kind of like one loss in 2 games, I guess. So yes, the record would look bad in terms of 2 losses, but both those being a half unit in the same game, we kind of split the Pirates side, so lost that game. Then we had the Cubs and Nationals under, and then the Angels money line, they get that done late in the game, and the Brewers just got blown out. But still a pretty decent day, even though it was 3-4. Thank you, though, to the Giants there for plus 150 cashing that one. But like I said, we got a bunch of games to jump into today. Before we do that, guys, I do want to talk to you about Outlier. We've been talking about them on the channel plenty, so if you are brand new, this is new to you guys, but if you are returning viewers, you've heard about Outlier, and if you haven't signed up for Outlier yet, then you are just crazy. You're watching these videos pretty much every single day and seeing me talk about Outlier and not clicking the link in the description or the pinned comment. Outlier is becoming my favorite sports betting research tool, guys. It is super easy to use, super easy to consume, super visual. Go check it out, guys. You can see by the graphs and the tables here how easy it is really to consume and see good and bad. Green is good, red is bad. Duh. It makes it easy for dumb people like me and you. But go check that out. Link in the description as well as the pinned comment. And at the end of the video, I'm going to go through and give kind of a quick demo of Outlier. So if you want to see the actual tool on the desktop version, make sure to stick around till the end of the video. We will be jumping into that. But let's go ahead and jump into the slate, guys. But before we go ahead and do that, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You guys have absolutely been crushing the like button as of late. And I tell you guys in every video, I'm surprised by how many likes you guys, throw my way, right? Still get surprised. Every single day I'm like, how the hell are hundreds of you guys hitting that like button? You're psychos. Go ahead and show me how psychotic you are. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you are new. Let's jump into it. We got game number 1 here between the Nationals taking on the Cubs here. Nationals now have taken 2 of these games. They win 2-1 yesterday. Actually, 2 of the 3 so far, right? So we have the Nationals winning games 2 and 3 on the mound today. For the Nationals, Corbin 1-4 with a 5.74 ERA. Taylor on the mound for the Cubs. He's 0-2 with a 3.86 ERA. In terms of odds, we have the Nationals as heavy underdogs here, plus 190 on the money line here. Total is sitting at 9 runs. I do think that this line is going to update throughout the day because this has not moved, or even odds, right? Odds have not moved at all since opening, so the line's not going to move. But in terms of the money you're getting, I do think that could move. Nonetheless, I think that we're seeing this Nationals team hang around with the Chicago Ball Club. I'm going to lean towards Washington here, plus 1.5. Whether or not it becomes a final play, keep an eye on the pinned comment. But we've been hammering Chicago money line like all year long, right? This is a game where we're looking at the opposite side. Washington, when underdogs, have covered that plus 1.5 in 6 of their last 10 games. They've done it in 2 straight games, obviously winning 2 games. They've done it in 3 of their last 4 games as underdogs. I think this is just a good spot for them. Now, I'm not going to tell you, I think they win this game. I don't necessarily think that. I think at some point, or at the very least, the Cubs end up taking 2 of this series. But I do think that there's a good spot here for Washington in terms of money. Plus 1.5 for plus 110 odds there over on DraftKings. In terms of a total, I did go back and forth on this game. But I think we're going to run back what we did yesterday. I see about 6 to 8 runs being scored in this game. We have a total of 9. I'm going to lean towards the under here, under 9. Even if this goes to 8.5, I think I'm still fairly confident in that under. Both these teams have cashed under 9 in 3 straight games independently, and obviously the last few games together here, but I'm going to lean towards the under 9. All right, next game up, we got the Detroit Tigers taking on the New York Mets, which kind of surprisingly, to me at least, in that doubleheader yesterday, the Tigers win both games. They win 6-5, then they win 8-1. We do have Justin Verlander on the mound, which has a little bit of a storyline to it, right? Going up against the Tigers today, making his debut. I do think that this is a good spot for the Mets, except the odds aren't all that great. You're going to look at the Tigers here. Tigers are plus 160 on the money line. Mets are minus 168 on a lot of sportsbooks, minus 170 plus on plenty of sportsbooks here. I do think this is a good spot for them, but that money is just a little bit too much to be considering a money line play there. And I really don't like the Mets on the run line as well, even though they can play decent. They've been rocky as all hell, as we all know. Even Scherzer going yesterday gets beat, right? I will say, even as rocky as they've been, they're even rockier when it comes to when they do win, minus 1.5. They've only done that once as a favorite in their last 10 games here. So I'm going to stick away from a side of things in this game because I don't really trust Detroit after 2 wins now. I don't really trust them to be able to come out there and do their thing. But I am going to look at the over here. Verlander just coming back. I don't think that, he's going to go out there and pipe it. I really don't. Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound for the Tigers, 2-2 with a 2.21 ERA. I expect that to be a little, that's deflated right now. I do think that they get to him there. And both these teams have been cashing this line fairly easily. 8-1 was the score yesterday. In the second game, I think the first game was obviously 6-5 as well, so 11 runs total there. I do think this is a good spot for the over. In terms of 7.5 being a line in Mets games, they've hit that in 7 of their last 10, and they have hit it in 4 straight games, including obviously the ones we're talking about here. And the Tigers have hit it in 7 straight games, so not to say that their offense has been going off, because I don't think the Tigers' offense is anything to truly rely on, but they'll give you a consistent 2, 3, 4 runs, which can make up just about half of this if they do go towards the latter half of that, which I don't mind at all. We're looking at a low total here. I'm not telling you guys to pull the trigger on a 9.5 over. We're looking at a 7.5 over here. So I do like that. That's probably my only play in this game. In terms of a side, I do like the Mets today a lot, but only in a parlay or something like that. I don't think that this is a very good spot for them in terms of the juice worth the squeeze, in terms of what you'd be paying to make some money here in this game. All right, we got the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Pirates here. Tampa Bay showed why they are one of the better teams in the league yesterday. 24-6 is now the record. 25-6, I actually believe, is now the record. They take the Pittsburgh Pirates to the wood shop. They win 8-1 in that one. I do think that this is a decent spot if you look at Pirates again on the money line, but Tampa Bay minus 195 is just too much to be paying, and I don't necessarily trust them on the run line as much as I'd like to. They have not looked all that great against this Tampa Bay team. They lost 4-1 and then 8-1, so I don't hate the Pirates money line for the long shot, but we tried that little experiment yesterday, right? I'm going to be looking at, in terms of more of a safer play, and it's still plus money, I'm going to be looking at Tampa Bay on the run line today as my official lean on this game. In terms of a total, I'm going to look at the over. I think that what we saw last night, 8 runs out of Tampa Bay is fairly typical. Pirates only scoring 1 run. That doesn't really seem like them all that much. So I do think that this one gets up into the double digits. I'm going to lean towards the over. All right, St. Louis hosting the Angels here. Obviously, like I said, the Angels sneaked that one out. They went 6-4 yesterday. On the mound, though, for the Cardinals today is going to be Jack Flaherty, 2-3 with a 3.94 ERA. I'm pretty sure he started the year 2-0, so he's been on a slip. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments there. On the mound for the Angels, we have Canning, 1-0 with a 4.1 ERA. This Angels team has won 7 of their last 10, and when they are underdogs, they have covered that plus 1.5 in 8 of their last 10 games. They covered it yesterday, or they were favorites yesterday, but they win the game yesterday. This St. Louis team is super perplexing. They've scored 1 run, 3 runs, 0 runs, and 3 runs in their last 4 games. I don't totally understand it, but I'm going to continue to lean in Los Angeles direction here because this Cardinals team is not proving anything to me. So though I almost want to pull the trigger on the home team today, I like Jack Flaherty compared to Canning on the mound for the Angels. I want to pull that trigger. I can't find it in myself to do it. So I'm going to lean towards Angels on the run line, plus 1.5 here. In terms of a total, boy, these two teams in terms of this line have just bounced back and forth this season. I'm going to lean towards the under, but only because I do think that this trends in that direction. They've been in a roller coaster here. They cashed it yesterday. I think that they don't cash it today. That isn't the most analytical approach. I doubt that becomes a final play, but I'm just being transparent with you guys in a sense of I think that this is an under today. But when I say I think this is an under today, I don't necessarily know. All right, moving on. We got the White Sox taking on the Twins. The White Sox, honestly, surprisingly, have taken two of this game, of this series so far against the Twins here. On the mound for the White Sox, you have Giolito, whatever his name is. He's 1-2 with a 4.15 ERA. He's like a frozen yogurt guy. On the mound for the Twins, we have Pablo Lopez, 2-2 with a 4 flat ERA. I think you're getting very good odds on the Twins here at minus 130 on the run line. This is something that I don't think that if this line, I would say this, if the Twins hadn't lost 2 straight, I think this line would be way more towards the minus 150, minus 160 range. They are just a better team than the White Sox, but they've lost 2 straight here. They are on the road. I do think sportsbooks are overreacting to that. So I think we have a good spot here for the Twins. Even with those 2 straight losses, the Twins have still won 6 of their last 10 games here. I do not like them on the run line. I'll be clear. These games have shown that they're going to be close games. Again, the White Sox have won both, but it's 3-2 and then 6-4. I don't think Minnesota necessarily blows them out, but I do like the Minnesota side of things in terms of a money line play here. In terms of an over, I like the over 8 here. I don't think that this is a very tough line to hit. We saw even with I guess that you could say Dylan Cease, obviously the better pitcher on the White Sox side of things here. Really their only pitcher that I would say is a really good pitcher, right? That still got to a 6-4 total yesterday, so it's not like he went out there and shoved it for 6 innings or so. I do think that this gets to probably 9-10. I don't think this becomes like a necessary an 8-6 type ball game or anything like that. I'm not looking at 14 runs, but I do think the over 8. I think that 8 is somewhat of a soft line there, so I'm going to lean towards the over in this one, 8. And then like I said, I think it's a great spot for the Twins. I really like this. This is probably going to be a final play. I just like them in a bounce back spot. They are, we can be honest, right? This Twins team is a better team than this White Sox team. Now, they're not playing like it in this last series, right? But this White Sox team prior to that had been swept in 2 straight series. So I don't think that, it's rocket science to be like, oh, the Twins are the better team. They've lost 2. Maybe they get it going. Like, I don't think the White Sox go sweep or being swept to sweeping the Twins, who are a good team this season. I just don't see that. So we're leaning towards the Twins on the money line. All right, we got the Royals taking on the Orioles here. Royals plus 152 on the money line at home. Total sitting at 9.5 runs. In terms of who's pitching, Lyles on the mound for the Royals, 0-5 with a 5.6 ERA. Grayson Rodriguez on the mound for the Orioles, 1-0 with a 4.07 ERA. Yesterday's game didn't go exactly how we thought. I leaned that way. I leaned Royals, right? We took Baltimore money line 2 days ago, then we leaned Royals. I wish we pulled the trigger, but I did not think the Royals were going to win that one by 6 runs. They shut out the Orioles 6-0 here. I did lean, obviously, if you watch yesterday's video, I leaned Royals, so hopefully someone took that and kind of ran with it and made some money there. It wasn't one of our final plays. I wish I could count it towards our record, but we only count our final plays towards our record. I don't think that this one's necessarily going to be in the same spot here. I'm going to lean towards Grayson Rodriguez, the pitching nod here in terms of Baltimore. I think that they win this one on the run line. I think you get really good odds here at plus even odds on most sportsbook. FanDuel offering plus 100 odds right now, and they've done this in 5 of the last 7 games in terms of when they are favored, and they're playing a team that they can, in the Orioles, they're playing a team that they can obviously smack around. They were losing, what was it, like 5 to whatever in game 1, and they end up winning that one. I think it was like 11-7 or something, right? So this Orioles team, we've seen the offense kick in at plenty of times this year. There's no way that they go and score 0 runs against, especially with Jordan Lyles on the mound, 0-5 with a 5.6 ERA. Give me Baltimore, guys. I like Baltimore a lot. That run line, again, that's where your money's going to be. I think that this is almost like I don't want to guarantee it, but this is a pretty good spot for Baltimore, but it's minus 160 on the money line. We'd have to kick that around, chew it up, see what spits out, whatever the saying is, just to see if that is worth, paying that much juice. But I do like Baltimore in terms of plus money on the run line today for sure. And then in terms of a total, 9.5. We've seen a couple inconsistent games here, but I'm going to back what happened in game 1 a little bit more than what happened yesterday. Game 1, again, 11-7, 11-6. I don't have the notes up in front of me, but it was a high-scoring game. Yesterday, Kansas City wins 6-0. I can't imagine Baltimore going out there and just, shutting themselves out again 6-0 yesterday. That is not a Baltimore sort of offensive production normal line. So I think this one does go up and over. I wish it was sitting around 8.5 like it was in game one. I think it moved to 9 last game. Now we're up to 9.5. So books are really, really moving this line up as the series progresses. But I'm still going to lean towards the double-digit approach here. I'm going to look at the over 9.5. All right, moving on, we got the Rockies taking on the Brewers. Rockies plus 135 on the money line at home. Stand up if you thought the Rockies would take the first 2 games against Milwaukee Ball Club. Oh, nobody's standing? Yeah, I don't think anyone really expected this. They also took 2 of 3 against the Angels. The Rockies have won, 3 of their last 6, which is only 50%, but that's a lot better than they were trending here. I am a little bit surprised by this. They're playing good baseball, but maybe I'm a broken record. Maybe I'm a dummy because this is why we leaned it yesterday. But I think this is another good spot for the Rockies, Brewers, to bounce back. Wade Miley on the mound, a sub-2 ERA, 3-1 record. I'm backing them today. I just can't see them losing 3 in a row to this Rockies team. I think that they're gonna rock the Rockies tonight. Let's see if we have the soundboard right. There we go. Little drum snare there. I like the Brewers. Minus 145 on the money line. I think is decent money to be paying as well. I think you have some fair odds there. Now, I would advise this. I strongly, if you are on the Brewers side of things, I suggest not even looking at the run line. In terms of when Brewers have been favorites, they've only covered that in 2 of their last 10 games. They are definitely a money line team when it comes to winning games, not necessarily running away with it. So keep that in mind. I am going to lean towards the Brewers here. And then in terms of a total, I'm going to look at the under yet again. We continue to cash these in terms of leans and final plays. I like the under in this game. I know that it's Colorado. I know the elevation, but we haven't seen, a game yet this series that even gets to double digits, never mind 12 runs in this one. So I'm going to lean towards the under. Whether or not it becomes a final play, keep an eye on the pinned comment, but I expect Wade Miley to be able to keep at least the offense of the Rockies down. If the Brewers are going to go out there and score 12 runs themselves, fine. But they've only had 1 game in their last 10 games here where the total goes over 12, which is not surprising. We're only looking at this ballpark because of the altitude and the total at 12. But I like the Brewers money line in this one and then also the under. All right, we got the Oakland A's taking on Seattle. I believe this game went to extra innings yesterday, but Seattle still won 7-2. I admittedly did not watch the game. We didn't have a final play on it or anything like that. On the mound for the A's is going to be Ruchinski? I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's 0-1 with a 4.76 ERA. Kirby, I can handle that name, on the mound for the Mariners. 2-2 with a 2.9 ERA. The only issue here is obviously you can fade the Athletics pretty much all season long, right? But the odds are getting kind of out of hand. I don't think that the Seattle team is worth a 225 minus 225 money line play here, and even their run line is minus 130. I don't think any of those really make sense in my brain, so sadly, I'm going to look and back the Athletics here with my lean, but I'm not going money line whatsoever. I'm going to be looking at them plus 1.5 for plus money here. You can get plus 115 over on Caesars if you do choose, and they've covered that as underdogs in 3 of their last 4 games. Obviously, last game not really in that wheelhouse. They get blown out again 7-2 in extra innings, which is surprising. Then Oakland, in terms of how the first game went, I guess Oakland did keep it close. 2-1 game. I don't think that is the normal type of game, but I don't necessarily see this as an over game either. We have an 8.5 total, 8 on the graphic, but it is a little outdated. We screenshotted it earlier this morning. I do think that this is a spot where this probably ends at 6, 7, or 8 runs, right in that wheelhouse, which are all under the line on most sports books. So I'm going to lean towards that. You aren't getting the best odds, I will admit, on the under. They're looking at it, pricing it at minus 120 or so. So sports books think the under is the more likely outcome as well, but still not the worst odds, especially in baseball when baseball's a funny sport where you can take a minus 135 play and it doesn't seem like you're paying all that much juice. Whereas if you did that in basketball or football, people are like, whoa, where are the minus 110s, minus 115s? So I do think that the under has some value there, but I will let you guys know that obviously Vegas is leaning towards the under as well. All right, Miami taking on Atlanta here. Atlanta on the road, minus 154 in terms of a money line play. That is going to be my lean. Now, it kind of pains me because Luzardo's on the mound for the Marlins. He's better than Dylan Dodd on the mound for the Braves. Luzardo's 2-1 with a 3.4 ERA. Dodd has a 1-1 record with a 7.7 ERA. So that worries me a little bit, but this Atlanta team I do trust and I do back. They win game 1 of the series 6-0. Then they win yesterday's game 14-6. They just are feeling it right now. And like I've told you guys multiple times in the past, right? You can look at this Atlanta team and say, okay, they're covering, or not covering the run line necessarily, but they're doing their thing. They're covering when they need to cover, and they're winning games almost, in clumps. So when they do lose a game, yes, they're probably going to lose 1 or 2 in a row. We think we saw that, it was the Houston series, right? But when they go and win games, they're winning 2, 3 in a row. They're a good ball club. They definitely feel the momentum. I think this is a momentum play for them here. Again, they took, 3 of 4 against Miami a couple weeks ago in their previous series. So I'm going to lean towards Atlanta in this one. Miami really just isn't crossing the sheet as a play for me, but I will say, if you guys are on the side of things for Miami because of the pitching, I don't think that I would argue with you. I don't think that I'd be like, I know you're a dummy. The Braves are definitely going to win this one. I don't think so. I do think that the Braves have some good odds here too. Most sportsbooks have them fairly heavy favorites here, but FanDuel actually offering them near even odds on the money line. So if you are on the Braves side of things, make sure to check out FanDuel, guys, because that is going to be where most of your value is going to be there. I do think this Marlins team can get it done though. I'm just being transparent. I'm riding the Braves because they seem like a very a momentum-driven team. Like they're winning, like I said, in clumps, losing in clumps. Like whatever the vibe is for the Braves seems to be working out. But this Marlins team also has a decent pitcher on the mound, definitely better than Dodd. So I don't hate the Marlins money line play either if someone is looking for that play. But guys, I'm leaning towards the Braves. In terms of a total, 8.5 runs, I like this one to go over. We've seen that Braves, like I said, that offense kind of kick in here. They've won 3 of their last 4, and when they do win, they're scoring 6, 9, 7, 11 runs types of things. So when they're winning games, and I expect them to win this one, they are putting up a lot of runs. They put up, 6 runs against Sandy Alcantara in game 1 of this series, so I don't see why they can't do that against Luzardo. All right, then we have the Red Sox taking on the Blue Jays. That's our last game of the slate, but stick around. We're going to jump into the Outlier app. I'm going to share my screen and walk you guys through it. So if you want to look at Outlier, which is, the partner, the brand partner that I did talk to you guys about at the beginning of the video, stick around until after this game. But we have the Red Sox taking on the Blue Jays. Brian Bayo on the mound for the Red Sox. He is 0-1 with a 6.5 ERA. Then we have Gosman on the mound for the Blue Jays, 2-2 with a 2.3 ERA. I don't think that record really does him much justice. He's pitched pretty decently this season, but I'm kind of surprised to see the Red Sox just continuing to kick Toronto out of the park here. They've won 3 straight games, 6-5, 7-6, obviously one of those going to extra innings, and then 8-3 in yesterday's game. Nick Pivetta against Alek Manoah. Pivetta gets the win there. I do think that this is another good spot for the Red Sox. I don't think they're being respected on the run line. Yes, you could have taken the money line and made way more money than what I've been telling you for the last 3 games. But this Red Sox team has covered that +1.5 when they are underdogs in 8 of their last 10. They've done it in 5 straight games. Just trusting the trends and knowing that this Red Sox team keeps games close, not necessarily wins. I do think this is a good spot for them. The only caveat to everything that I'm saying is that I think Toronto is a slightly better ball club, right? And they've lost 3 straight. So it wouldn't be the biggest surprise in the world if they come out guns a-blazing and they say, let's win this one 10-3. Like, screw you guys. You've stolen 3 games, with a walk-off in 8. I was a Connor Wong in game 2 of this series, or game 3, whatever it was. A walk-off or an 8th inning hit to score a run, and then Verdugo with the walk-off. Like, the Red Sox have, other than the last game, gotten by the skin of their teeth. I could see that being a mentality of the Blue Jays, but I am going to lean still towards the Red Sox +1.5. Even if the Blue Jays win, I think it's most likely going to be like a 5-4 game, which kind of puts me in a tough spot for the total, being 9 runs here, but I'm going to slightly lean towards the over. I think this would more likely be a 6-5 game than a 4-3 game, right? So I'm going to lean towards the over in this one. And that is going to wrap it up for the slate, guys. If you're still sticking around, go ahead and hit that like button. And let's jump into what I'm looking at on the Outlier side of things, okay? We don't have an official play of the day, but this is a great screen, and I definitely incorporate this in my morning research as well, guys. Red is good. Red is bad. Green is good. You can see when and where teams are trending. For example, Red Sox, we just talked about this, right? Red Sox have covered that +1.5 when they are underdogs in 8 of their last 10 games. You can see the bars right here. And what's great is this shows all the best odds that you have from the 4 major sports books here: FanDuel, MGM, Caesars, and DraftKings. Now, if you're not a game player and you like spreads or you like player props a little bit more, there's 2 tabs here that'll help you way more than this sheet will. Trending goes through and looks at all the trends in the market right now, and if it's offered here, if it's offered on a sportsbook, it is going to be here. So you can see, for example, Brandon Lowe or Lau, I don't know which one he is. Obviously, they have a couple guys that spell the same, pronounced differently. Brandon Lau has failed to exceed 1.5 total bases in 13 of his last 14 games against opponents with a winning record. If we wanted to look at this, we could click this, we could head over to our picks. You can see it's offered on Caesars at -178. And the cool thing, like I've shown you guys before too, is, for example, I know DraftKings will work a little bit faster, but say we want to do this one. Cedric Mullins, right? Failed to exceed 1.5 total bases, 5 of his last 6 games on the road. We could click this, we head over to our picks, and we look at this. Oh, okay, -170 on Caesars. Best odds are over there on DraftKings. Let's click that. Hands up so I can prove it to you guys. This is going to, I'm not going to be logged in, but this adds it to our bet slip without us having to touch it. So you don't have to go and find this play within, the crevices of that game and anything like that. It just adds it right away, and one click of the button, you guys have that on your bet slip there. But that is the trending tab. And then also they have the prop finder, whereas pretty much your encyclopedia, your dictionary, you go in here, you can tell it's loading because they have every line that is offered in terms of player props here. So if we wanted to look at Bayo on the mound for the Red Sox, right, we can look at Brian Bayo, every line that is offered, you can see what sportsbook's offering it to. We could go in and look at this. So in terms of probability, you can use this column here. It looks like this implied probability, plus 1.5 walks is probably a good spot for Bayo. You can see he's done it in 7 of his last 10 games on this season. He's done it in his two of his 3 starts. 2022, he did it in 73% of games. So guys, Outlier is definitely a very, very cool tool. So make sure to use that link in the description. Use it in the pinned comment as well. You can sign up for a 7-day free trial, but I'm very confident that if you use it for 7 days, you'll see how much your gambling and your betting takes a turn for the better. So check it out, guys. You probably stick around for the paid version as well. $19.99 after that. But even if you're like, I don't want to pay $19.99, I'll do the heavy lifting on my own, I'll do the research, guys, why wouldn't you just sign up for 7 days? 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can count to 7 days on one hand. Go sign up, guys. Link in the description, in the bio, in the pinned comment as well. Sign up for Outlier. And that is all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys do enjoy. I'll catch you guys in the next video, all right? Peace out.